Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're joining us from around the world. Welcome to Web3 Warriors, episode 106, featuring the NFT Energy Drinks team, Johnny and Brandon. Welcome, Johnny and Brandon. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for joining. Brandon's joining from Florida. We got Johnny joining from Georgia, or Atlanta, I should say. Thanks for joining. Glad you're able to make it.
Yeah, me
thank
too.
you for having us.
Awesome. I hear you got an event coming up for NFT Energy, so we're going to learn all about it. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. This is Web3 Warriors. I'm your host, David Chroma. Go by Chrome in the metaverse. And as always, we're going to be looking at the innovations taking place on the blockchain and how Web3 is really empowering creators, empowering entrepreneurs to kind of take advantage and open up new opportunities in this global on-chain economic kind of revolution that's taking place. And one of the things that we've talked about when looking at Web3 projects, when looking at NFTs, is the ability to really incorporate perks and kind of gamify the brand that you're building on chain, right? And so last episode, we talked to Kane Mayfield, and he talked about how with his music on chain, he's creating a lot of innovative kind of phygital items, whether it's headphones that have the actual NFTs incorporated right in the hardware, or vinyl that has an AR graphic incorporated with it that you have to own the NFT in order to get. So these are kind of examples of kind of phygital perks that you get when buying on-chain items, right? But looking at kind of a broader marketing option, right, and looking at what's possible in Web3, and it's a struggle that a lot of NFT projects are facing. You know, how do we get our brand out there to really grow and create a new market and reach new audiences and really just show that we're alive and kind of doing something in the real world, right? And so NFT Energy is a really kind of cool example of taking this marketing to a new level. So I ran into the team at Art Basel Miami when I was out there last year, and I thought it was a really cool concept because they were helping the Pigeons of New York project, and it was just a really interesting idea to kind of take an NFT project, incorporate it with an energy drink, but actually put their branding on the drink, have a QR code on the drink that kind of points back to the actual project. And so now you've got this kind of physical item that's a consumable item in an energy drink, but also points back to the project and helps people kind of understand what the project's all about. So we're going to be kind of picking the brains of Johnny and Brandon here to kind of see how they came up with that innovative idea and really how it's working out for them and what they're working on there. I do want to welcome anybody who joins us in the live stream, as always. If you have any questions or anything kind of piques your interest and you want to chime in, feel free to chime in the chat. We always encourage anybody to take part and chime in if there's anything that is really kind of curious to you. So always have that opportunity open to you. With that, I'm going to really turn it over to the team here. I'm really interested in this idea of taking an NFT project and combining it with physical merchandise. And I really haven't seen another project kind of laser focused on doing that like NFT Energy is. So with that, maybe before we dive into your whole business plan, can you each share just a little bit about your background? Maybe we'll start with you, Brandon, and then we'll jump to Johnny. You know, what brought you to this project and what brought you to the blockchain as well? So thanks for joining.
Yes. Thank you. Great introduction. As you know, so I'm Brandon. I'll say I really got into the blockchain and NFTs once I met Johnny. I say like 3-4 years ago, we did a project. Well, he introduced me to a project. Our other co-founder, Lawrence, we've been friends for a long time since college, did a lot of businesses together. And Lawrence and Johnny worked together. And then Lawrence introduced me to Johnny, which just gave the whole ideas of crypto, DeFi, everything. I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. Because we always wanted to do a business together. And then the introduction, it all clicked. So once I met Johnny, we got to a nice project, a few projects. We made a lot of money. We lost a lot of money. This is how the crypto world works. But it did, and before that, this background wise, I'm accounting. That's what I do. Financial accounting for a lot of hedge funds and everything. So a perfect, great opportunity there. Had extra money to spend and figure out some things. But that was like my first introduction with crypto. And I think one of the biggest things and what Johnny introduced is just, hey, we need to get something physical. We need to show people that there is a realness to crypto, blockchain, NFT. It's not just fugaziness around. And I think that kind of like really that birthed the idea of having our drinks, the actual physical product.
Awesome. And what about you, Johnny? A little bit of background and then what brought you to Web3 and the blockchain? Sounds like you onboarded Brandon.
So I guess, background, like professional background after college, I spent 20 years in manufacturing. So I'm currently, we started up this brand at the end of 2022. And, we haven't fully transitioned. We're in the middle, hopefully this year, be able to do that. But I'm a plant manager, so over a manufacturing company. And so a lot of experience with, real products, taking raw material and then you have something that's a sellable item at the end. So that concept and knowledge base is something that I have a very strong base on. But I got into crypto and NFTs, I think it's 2018, and I think it was the ICO time, like just messing around with that, had some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, and then I didn't know much about markets and whatnot, and then I forgot I had a couple of Ethereum, came back, and I was like, oh, wow, it's actually worth even more now, and it was kind of, I think it was around 2020-ish time, whatever that was, right, when things started going up, and I found that wallet. I was like, oh, nice. Okay.
That's the best way.
Yeah.
Forget you got some crypto.
Yeah, it's always a nice treat. And then, I got into some DeFi projects, started doing different things, looking at making some money in different ways. And then shared that with Lawrence. And Lawrence is our other co-founders. There's three of us. And we work together. Me and Lawrence have worked together for 11 years. And so, yeah, he connected to me and Brandon together. And he has a strong background in purchasing and sales. And so we started doing crypto and DeFi, got Brandon into it. Like Brandon said, we won some, lost some. And then it was kind of like, we saw the stuff going on with NFTs and like people raising millions of dollars and then doing nothing with it and just empty promises. And we're like, what the heck's going on, right? Like, we can get better than that.
That's wild.
So, yeah. So, I don't know if we want to jump into kind of that creation point of where it all started, that catalyst.
I guess what you're saying, I like what you just kind of mentioned, how you kind of pinpointed a need, or not even necessarily a need, just the idea that there's all this money floating around, right? And you've got these big brands, especially at that time, 2021, 22, there was just like still a kind of flood of investor money saying like, make these brands work. Like, we're just going to throw hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars at a brand. And oftentimes these people that are managing the projects probably never even touched that amount of money before and really didn't know how to manage it properly. And the marketing budget, from what I saw, just was either non-existent or it was going into like frivolous stuff. So yeah, take us into the business model and how kind of the NFT Energy is a more useful use case for maybe their funds, right?
Yeah, so that's exactly it, right? We looked at stuff and we're just like, this is just crazy, right? So much money. And it's like, what are they doing to bring people in? What kind of product do they have? And just to be empty promises most of the way around, right? We'll raise money, then we'll do this, and which sounds good, right? You want to be able to raise the money so you have the capital to do it. But then, Lawrence and I were talking one day about all this and brought in Brandon and just like, what can we do to create a product that's consumable, that gets in the average Joe's hands, right? And then can bridge this, right? Because this is a great opportunity. And it's like there's two different worlds. Like there's the normie world and there's us, right? And Web3 and NFTs, DGens, all these people over here, right? And it's like, people can cross, but very few like know anything about it, right? So is there a way that we can become that corridor, that bridge, right? And so that's kind of where it started at. And I'm a mass consumer of energy drinks. So I was like, this is perfect, right? You can hold it in your hand, cans in your hand, you get it right there. And it's like advertising. So we came up with the idea of, we can work with communities, because one of the things that we noticed was there were a lot of good communities that just didn't have a platform, right? And it's like, you see them come along, they die because they can't get enough views on them or whatever it is, but they're legitimate, right? Or they, they're stagnant, and it's like, how do they come out and people see there's something good, and it's not just some like pump and dump thing or something, right? And so, we've thought about that a lot, and we figured out that we could be that. We could be the ability to put a community that is, digital, and use that IP and put it in somebody's hand, right? And so that's what we want to, is a consumable. So it's an energy drink, and we made it so we would love it no matter what. And we went with the formula. It's like 0 sugar, 0 calories, and 210 milligrams caffeine. Tastes good, and I start my day out every.
And 0 calories, and it tastes good. That's a big promise, man.
Yeah.
No, they are
And
good.
it's
They are
really
good. I've tried it.
formulated
It's kind of
with
like
all love.
cotton candy and some fruity goodness in your mouth. It's good stuff, yeah.
That's right.
So I have on the screen here showing every can is a collectible, and it's got, you know, pigeons of New York. You got some pudgy penguins on there. So how does the physical, or I guess the phygital, we love that word here, the concept of like the actual can pointing to something on chain, what's the tech there, or the connection with making a can a collectible?
So we believe there's two ways of looking at it. And the way that we say that is truly each can is a select run. So we mean that in the sense of it is a physical collectible can in a way. Like there is only so many we're going to make of each design.
Gotcha.
But each community we'll do more and more. Now what's coming up very soon, and we're doing the testing of it right now, is we actually will have something we call a tab scratcher. And tab scratcher is going to be an NFT scratch card that goes out, and there's puzzle pieces. And I don't want to give away all the information on it yet, but there'll be prizes. You can win NFTs. You can win different things that will be valuable later on. But those will go with when people buy our product and we ship it to them. It'll be in the package. So that's something coming up in the next, hopefully the next month and a half.
Very cool. Very cool. Were you wanting to jump in there, Brandon?
No, well, just adding on with what Johnny is saying, like I think one of the biggest things is kind of like customer engagement with it. So I think that's gonna be one of our huge differences between a Red Bull, Monster. When you buy one of those, you're not really getting anything out of it. Except for, you know, a good drink. But with ours, you're getting a good drink plus a possibility of different rewards that are being tied into it. And these rewards can be worth, you know, it could be worth up to, you know, depending on which communities, everybody that we work with. So the whole idea of having this engagement with consumers, enjoying the drink, being rewarded for being a part of this drink, I think things that would kind of just leap us forward with many things in the future.
That's a cool concept. And I know, for example, your recent collaboration with the Pigeons of New York, and you got this buy a 4-pack and potentially, you know, win a pony, or as they call it, Pigeon of New York NFT, and those kind of brand partnerships. Is that what you're referring to essentially? Like, so the reward angle is always kind of coming from the NFT brand or project that you're partnering with, right? It's not like NFT Energy has their own, you know, collection of NFTs that they're giving out per se. It's more so the brand you're partnering with.
Yeah, I'd say too that Johnny, because we do have some other things in the future.
I wanted to say something. Yeah. I was like, okay, so as of now, yes. All right, as of today, but that's not the future. So the future is we actually have been working on all the art. We'll be releasing our own NFTs that will have lots of different benefits, discount entry to events, and then later on, there is a possibility of holders of those NFTs possibly getting dropped some tokens too or something. So we'll see. We're not making the promises on that part yet, but that is it could happen. We'll just say that.
Very cool. Very cool. Because I recall actually when I attended the Pigeons of New York event in Miami, I did end up getting airdropped an NFT that was, I believe, from you guys. It was from NFT Energy, but it had the Pigeons of New York branding on it. Can you explain kind of how that happened? I don't actually know if that was related to my wallet being provided to enter the event, which I believe I did, right? Or if it had something to do with me scanning one of your cans. I wasn't too sure. But yeah, just explain maybe how that kind of example worked out, because I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't have much to remember that event by. And then I look at my wallet one day and I got this airdrop like showing the event and showing the venue. And I was like, hey, cool, you know, got a little timestamp of my time in Miami in my wallet. So yeah, I'd love to hear kind of how that came about.
Yeah, so we work with a company called Key Space Studio, and we have been working with them on creating a tokenized loyalty program. And so what that means is when you go to an event that we are co-hosting, we have involvement at, we want to be able to do that. So sometimes, depending on what systems they're using, we might have a thing where it's like, hey, come and scan this at our booth, or come scan this at our table, you'll get airdropped NFT. Some of them, like the Pigeons event, right? Jim was able to provide us a list of addresses, and so everybody we had we dropped an NFT. So yeah, it commemorates that. You've got that. It's on the blockchain forever, which is awesome. But on top of that too, we plan to build that up so people that hold those, there are special benefits. So you will find some of those out within the next 2 months, which will be pretty cool. Because those lead into, we got this whole master plan of how things can build up. But
that's awesome.
We want to make it so that when people come to events, because I think that's one of the big things, honestly, I think we talk about this all the time, is it's not just this, right? It's not just I've got a can and it's delicious, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just I've got an NFT. These events, like, it's, unless you go to them, it's hard to explain, right? I mean, you go to it, and it's just this whole vibe. You meet all sorts of people. That's how we met, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly,
so and all these things, if I sat at home on my computer alone and did this, I can only do so much. But when I go out and you meet people face to face, those connections that you build, that's what this is all about, I think, right? That's where real community starts to happen. And so we want to make that value. So when you buy stuff, when you go to things, we're building this whole tokenized loyalty program where you have a history where you can do things with it.
Yeah, that's super cool.
It is. I think, Johnny, you put on a good point with these events and like community building. Like within these 2 years of us being in this, the amount of people that we have met, the connection that we have that can evolve with us in like real life things, it's been amazing. I almost look at this all the time when this is like the speed dating, crypto is like the speed dating of next.
It kind of feels like that a little bit, eh? You get to these events. I think it goes to what Johnny's saying with the idea that it's such a niche community, right? So then when you actually find a group of like, hey, we're all on the same page, we're all on the same wave, like we all want to connect and kind of know each other. Like, hey, what are you building? What are you up to? Or what got you into Web3? What got you into crypto? And everyone's got kind of their own different stories, whether it's on the DeFi side and, just wanting to make those gains, or it's on the art side, which, it's kind of what bought me in. I had been dabbling in crypto prior to knowing anything about NFTs, but it wasn't until I actually understood the way that NFTs create value in the digital space and the idea of selling your art on chain, really kind of hooked me in. And I just thought, oh, that's a no-brainer. And I've been hooked ever since. So how do you feel about kind of the smaller creators and their ability to kind of build brand? And do you think that something like an NFT Energy could still work for some of these more, not really like mass NFT projects, but more, what would you call it? Maybe one of one or limited edition artists that are out there? Are there ways to collaborate with an NFT Energy, or is there kind of like a minimum number to really make it feasible or make it work where it would have to be kind of a bigger project? I don't know which one of you wants to take that on.
You want me to take that, Brandon?
Yeah, you want to take that one, Johnny?
Okay, so yeah, I think that's one of the things that we did, right, is tried to make it so that is a possibility. So if you are like a smaller brand, like, I'm going to end up dipping a little bit to some of the benefits of the things we have. But when we go forward and we launch our NFTs, one of the perks is there is going to be some voting ability to pick like one per quarter of a community that goes on a can, or an artist or something like that, right? So that's pretty cool. On top of that, we are going to be offering it as a service as well, so for people to buy the ability for their community to do it. So even artists by themselves. We do have to have a minimum order quantity that we do. Like, we want to do at least a full pallet size, which is 80 cases of cans. So we have to make that all make sense. And additionally, we have to decide if those are going to go straight to that person, because let's say I'm holding, it's a possibility. We have to know stuff in a couple months in advance. But let's say I have an event coming up, right? And I am just I'm a music artist, right? Or and I want something special done. Theoretically, once we put the design on the can, the way we have these, I'll just hold up a little bit. So like on here, for example, we have our QR code on the side. This takes you to our website. Actually, it's a flow code, so we can change it anytime we want. But we can put one of those on there specifically for the design too, right? So maybe they have their art on it, that has that, and it goes specifically to an event. And we can sell those as packages, right? Okay. And so that means now I get, as the creator, I have something that I can give everybody that comes to my event. I have something I can give away as a physical product. And if they scan it, maybe I can set it up, they give me the right QR code, and now they're able to claim the NFT from that event too, right? So Awesome. Now they've got a awesome product that they can use their art on. So yeah, so for just an independent artist doing something, a one-on-one, and they're holding, or they have a studio and they want to do one design, and there's possibilities. So,
Cool.
I think that's one of the things that we want to be able to have is that flexibility.
But generally, like 80 cases to kind of make it worth it, right? You're saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think like a big thing is, I'm saying, like we look at our drinks like kind of a launch pad for a lot of these smaller people. They have a great project. Now you just need more eyes on it. I think the biggest thing is showing this community spotlight. That's what we call the front of the can. It's our community spotlight. So we want the ones that are doing something amazing in space, and you need more eyes to see it. Once our drinks are in all the gas stations, all these retail markets, Walmart, Target, you see our drinks. As you see, the design is amazing, but then you want to scan that QR code. Now you just learn more about this whole community that you had no idea about. So it kind of, I think a big essential is us, marketing a lot of these communities and just using our platform to market yourselves.
Right. And do you see a future maybe where, having the unopened cans are more collector items, and like you said, they're all limited runs, right? So maybe, is that kind of the angle you're looking at, like real physical collectibles?
I think
I had a few people they want to keep the can. Like, I want my can forever in a safe or something.
And we've had people though be like, I'm buying a 12-pack, but I'm keeping, the 12-pack. I'm gonna keep one of each design. I've got 4 I'm gonna put on my shelf. I'm gonna drink the other 8, right?
Nice. Yeah, exactly.
And so it truly is, people are keeping all those physical collectibles, right?
Yeah.
So we think that's really cool, and that's of course I'll have that in my room, right, in my house.
Of course.
Every single one, I want to keep everything, and I think that is, like I said, we're not going to go back and do another design, so that's going to be a limited amount of each one, and then. I
think that's a really cool angle. Again, going back to the vinyl conversation we had on the last episode, it's a similar thing where it's no longer like a needed thing, right? But people want to have it from a collector's perspective, and they'll pay a premium for that collector angle, right? So being able to kind of speak to the limited edition run of it, the fact that this brand, has collaborated and created these physical items that they may never create again, or they'll never create the exact same ones again, that's for sure. So again, if you have faith in the brand and you want to be, looking at a long term, definitely I could see, wanting to keep 1 or 2 to the side. And that's a really cool concept that I hadn't really thought about before. And so how are you kind of approaching brands with this conversation, and how are you feeling about kind of Web3 right now in general? Because it is definitely a little bit slower in the NFT space, quote unquote mass adoption that people always want to talk about, I think is less important, but more so, how are those of us who are here making it more fun and making it more engaging so that it does kind of naturally grow, right? So I'm just curious, like, how do you have that conversation with Pigeons of New York, for example, or maybe even with some of these bigger brands that you want to get out to, where, they're helping you and everything's growing kind of mutually. So how are you having that conversation, Johnny?
I think that, oddly, and Brandon can attest to this, but the more and more people see us, the more and more we have to say, we're going to have to explain the process, because there is a long list of people that want to get on our cans.
Okay.
So
well, that's a good problem to have, though.
It's nice. We get, I think at least a couple times a week, we get communities that are trying to find out how they can do it, right? Or an artist or something like that. So, we've wanted there's a cycle to the way we do it, because we have to go production volumes. We have to sell our inventory enough to be able to order another batch and make sure it makes sense. Otherwise, we got a lot of storage fees we got to pay until it goes out through stores or online sales, right? So making sure that whole system vibes. Our goal was to do it quarterly, to be able to do a new collections quarterly. I think we can still do that. We've had a lot of online orders recently, which is great. So big shout out to Supreme Kongs and Pigeons of New York. Pigeons of New York has a great promotions going on right now, and even tied in with, I don't know, Brandon, do you want to talk about Stevie, about what he's done too?
Yes. And actually, I just want to say, I got one of Stevie's NFTs. So this is the Pigeons one.
Nice.
Stevie has, but we also have another collection with his company, HBHF, which is not directly NFT and crypto, but he has his own events that he helps. Stevie Johnson's a retired Bills football player.
Gotcha.
And so he has a camp now where he's teaching a lot of players, college, high school, just kind of get them prepped for the league. And so we have garnished a partnership with him. And I think things now, this is good for us and good for like communities that are not also just into NFTs, exactly, because we also want to help bridge a lot of, again, as you said earlier, we want to get this mass adoption filled. So now teaching people how NFTs work, how crypto work, now working with someone like Stevie Johnson, like, hey, you have a club. Let's figure out a way to how we can get involved with blockchain. You got this, you get this can, now they can get entered to go to your camp. The possibility to learn from you. He is also running a promotion with Pigeons where once you get it, you get a ticket to come to the New Orleans for the next Super Bowl event. So it's great. It's great, man.
Yeah, pay attention to the socials on that one. He's throwing some stuff up about that. So
I guess so.
He's got the deets going out there, yeah.
So Stevie, is he on the blockchain? Like he's pretty Web3 friendly, like he's into NFTs and crypto, but you're saying his project is not an NFT project per se.
Yeah, so like he's involved with crypto and Web3 and everything, so he knows what's going on. Just like what he has is his own club and academy. It's not directly tied to crypto, but that he is involved with it.
But they're still going to use the cans for building the brand and then also having an onboarding angle to that. So that's a really cool use case too. So you're talking about helping a brand that is friendly to Web3, wanting to spread the knowledge of Web3 and the blockchain, but is not really a traditional NFT project in any sense, but still can kind of lean on your NFT Energy drink, because it's always going to be called NFT Energy, right? And so in that way, you're kind of pushing some narrative around NFT, and then you have the QR code, which can bring you to the educational platform. And wow, that's really cool, man. That's really interesting and a very phygital concept, as I've been saying. So what do you think is kind of the importance of IRL events when it comes to what you were just saying, as far as like really getting people who are not fully on board, or not really like loving the Web3 wave as much as we are over here, but see that there's kind of exciting things happening, so how important is that IRL event, and how is your brand specifically helping to kind of boost IRL events and the impact of them?
Yeah, no, I would say like IRL events are like extremely important. Again, like we know the amount of people that are NFTs. We have our niche, which is all online, but there's so many others that don't know what's going on, and they just see what's physical, what's in person. So us going to these events and showing out, and I think kind of like the biggest thing was our name. There's a lot of back and forth with our name. A lot of people are like, oh, you're gonna NFT, you're gonna be gimmicky, you're not gonna be in the store and retail. We heard that a lot, but then why we decided to stick with it is because we see the future of it, and maybe at first you don't want to get the can because it says NFT, but you still see it everywhere. You see it, and now maybe it might not exactly relate to the digital part. You bought the can and you liked it, and now I'm gonna get more involved because I saw it in real life. I don't know what NFTs are, but I see the name everywhere. So this.
Yeah, I like
now,
that.
let me look more into it. So I think that real life stuff is very important, just to see that. And nice. And again, that kind of that real bridge to get more people involved in the Web3 and blockchain.
100%, kind of pushing that narrative, right? And have you had any pushback? Like, are you looking to get into the convenience stores? Have you heard from kind of the more mainstream outlets like, no, we don't want to stock something called NFT? Is it an actual difficulty? We got Johnny doing a live demo for us here.
Yeah. You should have snapped it so you could have heard the.
Right. I did it when you were talking. Yeah. Also, one other thing too, we decided we don't want any dyes in our stuff, so it's clear.
Okay.
So, looks like water when you drink it.
I'm actually gonna get me some right now
Natural.
too. But yeah, I mean, to your question, we have had. I mean, it's been back and forth. Like I don't think it's like fully stopping us. Of course, there are the ones that. They said it was gimmicky, and we're talking about a couple major retail stores. But at the end of the day, once we start getting tons of sales, they're gonna go for it no matter what.
Exactly. Once the demand is there, right? Sorry, Johnny.
So the feedback. Lawrence has been working a lot with trying to get in some places like Kroger and Target and Walmart, and we've got. I think there's a process going on with each one of those currently. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but we're working through that process with our distributor too. and our distributors in Georgia that we have for Georgia, but they're working on that too. So the goal is to be able to get in there. But what we did get with some feedback was, from one, I think, one grocery store chain, they didn't like the NFT side of it. But again, at the end of the day, when they were saying it, well, if it's being picked up by if you have multiple gas stations that have it and you have the sales, they're not going to care either, is basically what they say, So, our goal is going to be, it's not going to be a shotgun approach, but we are still going to shoot for the big boys. But we're also, we're hitting up gas stations, liquor stores, bars, it's those options right there where people are going. We get enough of those, then the bigger chains, they actually will buy into it then, because then we have that presence. Until then, we've actually gotten a lot more sales online, which we thought it was going to be more retail at first and less online. But we've actually got a lot more online. So.
Yeah, you can see where the project by project ability online is pretty huge, right? And a lot of these projects have like international, global supporters as well. How are you handling that? Are you able to ship internationally? Has it become a pain point when it comes to like someone in Brazil or India, wanting their pigeon to New York, or one of these other kind of projects that maybe they're bought in on? Have you come across that as an issue with the global nature of Web3?
Yes.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, it definitely has been. I did run. I was actually, it was an accident when it happened, but we wanted to try it anyway. So I was working through a promotion that Supreme Kongs had, and just this is their Samurai Kong, what it's on their thing, right? So nice. I went ahead and talked to Cyrus and their leader, the founder, and talked to him about everything. And he said, yeah, I want to try to get an international and get out there. And I was like, all right. I thought I had it all set up, but then he ended up kicking off the promo a little before I thought he was going to. And we ended up getting 2 orders, one in Australia and one in Germany. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, well, I guess we're going to make this happen. Right. So the charges were a little more than I thought, so I'm actually going to shoot back a couple of their actual jungle tokens to those guys because the shipping was a decent amount. Mm. So I can't say it's 100% solved yet, because the thing is, when we look at it, international shipping, when you have a can, each one of these cans is a pound, right?
Yeah, heavy. Gets into the weight conversation.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So it's not like you're shipping paper or some little microchip or something, right? Mm. So it makes it a little more difficult. So right now, primary sales are in the U.S. I do want to focus on trying to go to Canada very soon.
Let's go.
Right? A lot of people in Canada, actually.
Come on, I want to order some from up here.
And then, we have gotten some, and it is different too. Like, there are different certifications they had to have for going to like the EU and versus Australia. So, right. And so I'd say there are some difficulties, but we're focusing on the U.S. and we'll continue working on that. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. And makes sense. And I think it's cool that you're already kind of grappling with it. And I'm sure it's just a matter of finding that right solution, finding that right partner, getting the prices kind of a little bit more transparent, right? So that you're able to kind of just state what they're going to be if you're in Europe or you're in Canada, But exactly. I know, shout out to Crypto Rastas. I'm wearing one of their merch right here. You should try reaching out to their team. I can actually put you in touch with them. They're awesome. So they're based out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. And the reason I bring them up, because it's a similar situation where I just really wanted one of their merch, but they're down in Brazil, and basically ordering or shipping it up here to me in Canada took a lot of time. It ended up being like 4 or 5 months. The shipping wasn't too expensive, but it was a bit of a hassle. And because of the global nature of Web3, they're sending stuff out to like different corners of the world as well, but they managed to make it work. And I think that people in the Web3 space are familiar with these kind of pain points. So whether it's having to pay decent amount of shipping because the items are heavy, or just having to wait a long time because they're making custom shirts and custom wearables for you. I think that's part of the growing pains of Web3, I think, right now. But that's great that you're at least kind of tackling it and kind of being transparent about it. So how is the conversation with other brands going? Like, are there bigger brands like a Bored Ape or whatever the case might be that you're really kind of like aiming for and gunning for, or are you now getting so many incoming kind of requests from smaller NFT projects that you're able to kind of just just like focus on those and make sure you're meeting the needs of those and then just grow gradually, and you're not really kind of concerned with maybe getting some of the bigger projects?
Yeah, I mean, that's the second part. I mean, like, honestly, we have, with the desire of people to be on the cans has not been lacking. And, originally thought about it, but one of the things we did is, although we've shipped a case down trying to get into events and work with the Pudgy Penguins. I'm a holder. All the ones that we have on ours, for example, are ones I own, right?
Oh, so nice. Okay.
I love the ability to use the IP rights to be able to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, if I'm a holder of certain communities, as long as the rights are there, I can do what I want, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the way I did it, because I didn't know, because and the way I see Pudgy Penguins, and one of the reasons we chose them is I see them as a blue chip, and it's just, they're big, they're in stores, people see them, it's recognizable for kids, right? My kids, I got them stuff from Walmart for them, and they, my wife said, stop buying that much stuff, right? But, it's it's, but the good thing is, that ability that's there. So some communities don't offer that. I did want to do something like this originally. We reached out, and I was going to do something like that with Sappy Seals, and reached out to them, and they said they don't do that, right? They're not. You don't have your IP rights to do it. And I was like, okay, well, do we? And it just didn't seem to work too well. But then on the other hand, I like one of the not in certain acts. He just launched his thing on Solana, so Solana Seals, right? So he just did that. So he's done this derivative, and has done all this art, and it's fantastic, right? Looks just like the seals. But I asked him at the very beginning, I was like, if I buy one of these, do I have the rights to put on a can if I want? Right? So yeah, absolutely, right? You own the rights to these, do what you want. And I think that's one of the big things about this industry is, if you want that growth, you have two ways of doing it, right? If you're a community owner, you can hold everything and hope you make all the right choices. Or if you trust in the community and the choices and you give the guidelines, can your brand be proliferated? I said it wrong. Can it grow out there exponentially, right?
Yeah.
And because you set up the right way. And I think the right way is give people the IP rights to do what they want. Usually that creates more growth as long as the right guidelines, right? And that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then what do you think about the whole CCO kind of angle? Because to your point, I guess I think Crypto Rastas also takes kind of a non-IP rights, like basically full, non-copyrighted approach to it. Do you think that CCO is kind of too wide open, or what do you think? Yeah.
It's it does get silly sometimes what people do with the rights and what they have, what they can put wherever, right? I want to say I saw I don't even remember what it was, something crazy. I was like looking on Wayfair at some furniture or something like that, and then this thing came up, and it was these, I don't know, it was something, it just didn't make at all any sense, but it had Bored Apes on it, right? Okay. And I'm like, I don't know. That was a good idea, right? So you do open yourself up to the chances of people making the decisions that really could hurt the brand as well, right? So, I don't know. It's I guess there's no one right way to do it. It depends on the brand, and
But to your point, I guess all you need to do is find, a Bored Ape holder who likes your project and wants to collaborate, and all you need is that one guy approving that you use their ape, and all of a sudden now you got Bored Apes incorporated too. So that could happen theoretically, right?
Exactly.
We have a lot of people that that want to do it, and I think that's a whole good point with it. Like, behind these IP are actually people that have their own brand and doing things, and they're so tied to their IP and what they have. So you putting my IP on there is just gonna further promote what I have individually.
Yeah, 100%. So how do you approach that conversation with someone like that, I guess? Because in some cases, maybe they think they're on the side of having something valuable that they're offering to you, and then on the same time, you're clearly offering a value to their brand by allowing them to kind of push it out there. So, I mean, how would you kind of approach that conversation? It's an interesting opportunity, I guess.
We have had that, right? And, there is, I think, owning and having the IP rights and holding yourselves as the community or the owner, right, of it, it does have that ability to say, I don't want to use this way. And I think that it can be very good as well. It does add a little bit of complexity in certain ways. Like, for example, we do, when we go through and we've done these, we've been like, contract is set up for IP right usage, which we've done with each person too, right? And it says we're only going to make this number of cans. This is what happens with them and X, right? So that way it's very clear because we know that they're their rights that are on the can. We want it to go out there and promote them and us at the same time. So we are taking a risk too. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what people have to realize too is, some of these, we've seen a lot of communities that do the wrong thing sometimes and just go away. Right. So we try to make the right choices and let the right communities do it. And there's always a disclaimer that, we put on our website and stuff like that. But in all reality, I also want the art just to be good. So if it goes on and it looks good, it's kind of like, that's what the selling piece is good to the average buys it, right? So if it's cool art, I mean, that's
not trying to put any dick butts on your can, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's not very good point.
Again, like we do definitely want the cool art because when you see it at the gas stations or the retail stores, you're gonna walk past everyone. You see the one that just, what this art is just dope. Or like our can it just stands out compared to these other ones. And having that really cool art would definitely showcase us at these stores.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the things we're gonna do, I want to say it's gonna be within a month. We've kind of made up this marketing plan. I'm leading this one of something I think it's gonna be fun to do. Is I'm gonna call it the Great Mock-Up. And so basically, all these communities, if they're interested, I'm going to open up something for about, let's say, a week at most, and they can submit their art, and I'll mock it up on the cans, and we'll put all these things out there to actually see what it looks like, right? Because most of the time, everything's awesome. Every once in a while, you're like, those colors don't match, or that looks crazy. But overall, you're like, I really want that, right? That's got to happen. Like, hey guys, everybody, let's put in money. We got to make this happen, or whatever. Or how do we do this? So,
Johnny with some alpha right there. So everyone that heard that, get ready to submit some
great mock-up.
Might get selected.
That is a super cool concept. And what just came to me? I'm going to give this away for free. Is you partner with like a art exchange, like maybe exchange.art or one of these super rare, even whatever the case might be, right? And you do these kind of like voting on which art should be on the can type of thing, right? And then they talk about limited edition runs. They could put literally like different one of ones on each packet. So like each one of one only has like a 4 version, and maybe they got to buy 80 at minimum, right? So maybe that's like however that divides into like 10, 12 different artists, and then you have that kind of like community engagement to kind of get your art onto cans that are collectible, that'll have a limited run. And obviously the art exchange is promoting themselves and promoting their artists through the whole raffle and through the whole kind of event. So there you go. That's what that made me think of when you were talking about it. So
you got it. That's awesome.
That's cool
concept,
that's
right?
Great.
Yeah. On that point, actually, exchange.art is a Solana blockchain, and I know most of these projects you seem to be collaborating with so far are in the Ethereum space. Do you have any preference? You did mention Solana, I think the seals or whatever. So are you open to Solana and other blockchains as well? Have you collaborated with any of them yet?
We haven't done any others as of yet, but we have one or two we've already been in talks with as possible communities to work with coming up, and I think one is on Base and one's on Solana. So, we're definitely not partial to a blockchain. Even we've had people on Wax talk to us, right? So we've got different things, different opportunities. Yeah,
that's what's up.
Yeah, we want to make it open to everyone. Like I said, we're NFT Energy, so we're not discriminating against any blockchain. We want
not Ethereum Energy.
Yeah, that's right. Not Ethereum Energy.
The ordinals, whatever, right?
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I definitely think that's the way to go. Shout out to Eunice. She was on our show a few weeks back, and she talked about being omni-chain. And it's like, forget being like blockchain agnostic. I'm just going to be omni-chain. I want to be everywhere, you know? And I thought that was a really cool way of thinking about it. And yeah, shout out to being omni-chain and staying open-minded, you know? So that's cool that you have projects on these different other blockchains already reaching out to you. And Solana's just blowing up right now. So I feel like that's a great one to kind of get your foot in the door, and you'll probably be surprised how many more projects start reaching out to you, right?
Yeah.
So how are you feeling overall just about Web3, I guess both of you, as we kind of wind down here? And if there are any questions from the chat, now's your time to chime in with any questions or feedback as we start to wind down. But yeah, just maybe I'll start with you, Johnny, and then we'll go to Brandon. How are you feeling just about kind of the adoption of Web3, NFT projects in general, and kind of where we go from here? What are you thinking?
I think that, you know, every day I see more and more news of, you know, as the ETFs keep on growing, what more and more out there, right? All I see is that's the next step of people basically becoming aware of this. And then, you know, I see maybe it's a little slower than originally I thought it might be. Maybe I just hyped it up in my head, like, oh, it's going to happen so fast, right? Yeah. But in all reality, you know, the more and more huge brands that take part in normal day operations for purchasing things are making the right steps to make it happen, right? So I think that, you know, over the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to be life-changing where people actually are using it. I think one of the coolest things, like I didn't get to make it down to Texas to, what was the
Consensus?
Yes, Consensus. You know, I'm a first adopter, right? One of those guys that are, you know, that's out there. What's this brand? I saw this and I was like, oh, I want that. Just new app for rideshare called Teleport.
Okay.
You see that?
No, I didn't see that one.
You can pay for your, you know, the drivers get more money and you pay less money because there's not somebody like Uber in between doing everything. Everything's set up the same way. They're doing it, but you can play with crypto. And so people are riding to the event in Cybertrucks. And that's what, yeah.
Teleport, hey? That sounds perfect. This is the kind of use cases we need, you know? It's just like, why can't I pay for my Uber in crypto? And honestly, a crypto Uber would be more peer-to-peer and less middle person, right? Taking their big chunk of change out of it. You know, at this point, like here in Winnipeg, honestly, our Ubers are as much or even more expensive than our taxis just because the demand is not quite there. But I feel like you make it peer-to-peer, all of a sudden, that's a whole new conversation, you know? That's awesome. I've never heard of that. That's a really cool concept.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, where's that at? And I was like, dang it, it's not in Atlanta, right? So, you know, but it's growing, and I saw it there. A lot of people are posting about it, and I was like, that's a perfect use case, right? You know, those sort of things. The more and more we see that, which I think will continue to happen. You got a lot of stuff like DPIN, everything going on where, you know, it's happening in the background. I just think it becomes full circle where the normal people that are people like my wife or whatever, right? They're like, oh, I do what now? Okay, that works. So, I see that happening probably next couple of years, right?
That's
but
amazing.
I think this is the right time to be, especially, you know, and we're at the, you know, we haven't even hit we're still in the big boys of the bull run just starting, right? So, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum. So then we have all these stages that are going to happen afterwards. I think the NFTs they'll have their peak that'll come up after we see a run up with, you know, Bitcoin and everything. It's just, I see those steps and the right steps. We're at the right time for those steps, I think.
Yeah, I've been seeing some of the conversation from kind of the investor classes. I like to talk about them in the crypto space. And they're talking about, you know, when that bull really hits and they're trying to take profits, they would also look at taking the funds and investing it into NFT art or NFT collections that they think are long-term viable, but really like artists who have a name outside of crypto, but also have work on chain. He was saying that this would be a safe investment. And I'm just like, I really hope that's the case. Like, I want to believe believe in the future of NFT art. Right now, I wouldn't personally be going and giving that advice to anybody, but I love the idea of it, and I do hope that, you know, that happens with the bull market coming back around, that NFTs, even if it's at kind of the tail end of the bull market, end up benefiting from kind of all the liquidity that's coming into the market, right? And to your point about that teleport app, you look at that and you can think like, oh, I hope that comes to Atlanta soon. Like, I see those things and I know it's not coming to Canada anytime soon. And I just wishful thinking, like maybe one day, a decade from now, we'll actually have something like that, but I just have to watch San Francisco and whatever other American jurisdictions trying it first. But yeah, kudos to the American innovation. I love it. So same question to you, Brandon. What are you feeling about Web3 and kind of the way things are growing and adoption and the technology? Just what are your thoughts on the whole thing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what I'll say definitely right now is I look at now as like the building phase. You know, it takes time for a full adoption or something. You know, the same thing with the internet. We all know back 1999, Y2K. I don't want to get into it now. Now you see how
gonna blow up.
It blows up. So right now we're at that period where, because the people that are in Web, we all know the innovation, the amazing things that are behind it. It's just now getting that education, letting the people that are not into Web3 know what's going on. And I think the easier we can get that connection and having platforms like our drinks, so, you know, what you're doing, like these podcasts, teaching people, showing people, and just the more of us doing that, the more, and then just outside of just the simple thing, the art and then nothing else behind it, we just need like true innovation. And the more that we have, I see future. I mean, it's real bright. Like I said, this will take time. This is the building phase, but either you're about to be a builder or you're going to be a follower later on. So it's time to make those decisions, and who knows how long that'll take, but we definitely see the future in this.
I like it. It's definitely a bit of a building phase. And to Johnny's point earlier, you know, I think we all kind of hoped that the obvious value that the technology is bringing would be more kind of commonly understood by now. And now that I've been in it for a few years and I'm talking to other crypto people that have been in it since, you know, 2016 or whatever, it seems it's just waves, and there's no one knows when that like real, you know, critical mass is going to actually happen. But to your point, you know, you keep building, and when that happens, not if, but when, you know, the technology and the value of the technology is more commonly understood, we will be here with all of these tools and all of this knowledge, and really, ideally, our projects also, you know, going up in value, which would be amazing. So really cool. And on that point about things not evolving quick enough, how are you feeling about the metaverse these days? And does NFT Energy have any thoughts or brand awareness in the metaverse? Are you working in the 3D digital space, trying to build anything out? We have our headquarters in Voxels. You know, we're big fans of the Voxels metaverse here, although to your point, things are kind of quiet, and the whole metaverse evolution conversation definitely has not taken off quite as quickly as I think Zuckerberg and others thought that it was going to take off, right? Any thoughts on the metaverse NFT Energy team? Maybe Brandon, we'll start with you and then we'll go to Johnny.
Brandon's take all that for me. He's leading everything on it with us. He keeps on, hey guy, I got this. I'm like
nice. All right. We got the right guy on the show there. What are your thoughts on it?
So I think it's funny what you said. Like we were expecting the metaverse to go crazy, so especially when Mark Zuckerberg had it, and we had Meta, and you know, expecting a lot, and it didn't hit like, you know, like we wanted. But we are, you know, we got a couple of projects that reach out to us that's in Decentraland. Nice. You know, getting things set up in the metaverse there. Awesome. And been so many great ideas brought to us, and which involves us being online to maybe like showcase more of the metaverse, us being in there, having our cans. This some ideas, you know, some ideas that we did have going on. Like, let's have these metaverse parties. You know, we're already having parties.
That's what I'm talking about. Let me know when those happen. I want to see more metaverse parties already. Come on.
Join our party. You need to have a can to come to our party. Okay. You come and join. We're gonna have music. We're gonna have everyone talking. You get rewarded for being in this party. Nice. I think you know, that the metaverse part is huge. Again, canal that's gonna bring. When I'm looking at the future, you know, everyone's gonna be on the computers. Everyone, you know, we're looking at our phones all the time, and now. How can we make you feel like you're still a part of something, but you're on your phone and everything? And I definitely feel like that metaverse is, you know, that'll help us get there. So what, you know, again, with that being said, NFT Energy, you will be seeing us in the metaverse. You'll be seeing us, when we working with different ones. Now, where exactly it will be in the metaverse is, still up there. We're talking to people, but overall, you will see us, and we will be having some NFT Energy parties in the metaverse. So
that's super cool. I'm looking forward to that. I love Decentraland. Shout out to Vita TV, and I know there's a lot of other cool brands like building out there and really always active, and yeah, they do a lot of events. I'm impressed because when I look at voxels, unfortunately, I was with a group, or I am part of a group that has been doing events in the metaverse, and unfortunately, Voxels really has just gotten so quiet over the last 2 years. It's crazy. But Decentraland, to their credit, have been consistently kind of doing things, and they always have events. We got the DCL Games people, or Decentral Games, I should say, and they have a whole casino in the metaverse there, and it's just like a lot of really cool use cases. And they've done a good job of bringing like regular IRL brands into their metaverse as well, and kind of using it from a promotional and marketing standpoint. So that's super cool. And another thing you could do with the NFT Energy space is make it token gated, right? So people like me who are lucky enough to get that airdrop of the NFT Energy token, maybe we get some special VIP access or something in Decentraland,
Exactly. Yeah, Vita TV, they have something amazing going on. We talk to him a lot. Nice. And get things set up there. They do amazing. And just thinking again with these token gating ideas, like we're also in a lot of, we're actually in a game right now. It's on a Wax platform. It's called Twitchy Tides, and they actually have our cans and everything in the game. And once you
what did you say it was called? Sorry, the name cut out.
Called Twitchy Tides.
Twitchy Tides.
Yep. It's like a fish tank. Yeah, really, really cool game. But they're introducing us in there, and there's a part of the game once your fish hits our can, they're like energized. So now they're going through these things.
Yeah, that's perfect. You got to make it so that you can like sync that in on your website or something, so people can just land on your site and like play it. They don't even know they're touching the Wax blockchain, right? Just get that like, synced in.
So I think those are two big things we're gonna really look at: these play to earn type of games, just the gaming, Web3 gaming in general, and metaverse. Like
we did get also one of the cool. We'll see. We're in the talks with a company that a couple weeks ago we had a meeting with them, and they're in the final stages of development, something that's like Grand Theft Auto, and but it's gonna be a free downloadable game, kind of like how you do Fortnite and you like pay for different things, but it's free. But about possibly having our cans in there, and the cans would be giving you like extra energy to like sprint or do different things like that.
Nice. Man, that's so perfect. And it's cool because it's just such a natural fit, right? Because you were bold and you took the name NFT Energy, right? I feel like, it maybe turns off a lot of the traditional market maybe, but it also ingratiates you to all of these Web3 projects that are like, what, an NFT drink or an energy drink that's using NFT in the name? Like, that's a no-brainer. Let's put it in our game. And I love that you brought it to Web3 gaming as well, because that's definitely another favorite topic of ours here. And do you think that that's part of the solution for adoption? I feel like once people are really having fun on the blockchain, not just getting money out of it, which has been kind of the main focus, play to earn, but how about you just play to have fun and happen to earn in the background, So how important is the gaming piece? And that's really cool that you're already in a on-chain game, so kudos to you.
Yes, thank you. Again, it's just so great, the amount of people that reach out to us and see how amazing we are, and just want their project to get involved with what we have. So I think on our end, like the Web3 game is going to be huge. Again, like that's where everyone's at. And again, it's not just all about play to earn. I'm just enjoying the game. So I'm spending an hour playing the game, just having fun. Exactly. I'm getting my energy drinks, my character, it built. We, talk to different people having like energy skin. It's so much. And again, that kind of goes back to the whole mass adoption. Like, look, we're having fun. We're enjoying what we're doing. It's not just about just making money and then, and educating people. I know it's kind of tough with a lot of the words it says. So now I just want to have fun. I didn't want to learn everything. I didn't want to come in here, play a game, have fun. I'm going to do this. Like, that's how some people are. And again, that's anything that we can do to get this mass adoption. That's what we're all about.
That's awesome. Just make it fun and the rest will fall into place, right? Any thoughts on the gaming, Johnny?
Yeah, I completely agree with Brandon. I think that's I think a couple of years ago, I'm not going to say that COVID had a big change point for us, but and it did in lots of areas. And I think that's one area got boosted in, right? You had a whole creator economy that started that really got boosted by it. And a lot of those people started gaming or just creating videos. And then you have all these people emulating them, and how do you do it? And so it's like more and more people. I just see it as a snowball effect. I think that maybe was the catalyst for really pushing it along. So getting it in the right places right now is going to be critical. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Amazing. And yeah, the creator economy, you know, COVID definitely impacted a little bit. I think back to 2021, I got kind of onboarded through Clubhouse in like February of 2021, and the community was just amazing. And I think we were all just kind of learning about it at the same time. So everyone was just kind of fascinated with the technology. But to your point, we wouldn't have had that time to be so fascinated and to learn so much if we weren't all stuck at home and basically had no other option but to be on our devices. So yeah, it seems to have played a bit of a role there for sure. Well, this has been really exciting. I'm really happy for you guys. I'm really looking forward to where this brand goes. It looks like the sky is the limit. You've got a lot of awesome opportunities already, you know, flooding your inbox. So who knows what's going to be next. On that note, what are you most looking forward to? What's kind of around the corner for NFT Energy? Maybe we'll start with you, Johnny, and it could also be on a personal side. If there's anything you're really excited about in Web3, love to hear about it.
So I think milestones, our company is the most exciting thing to me outside of my family right now, right? So, you know, I think that the biggest things are going to be exciting point is I can't wait till we launch our NFTs. Then we haven't announced details, but we plan to have our own event at Art Basel this year. We've taken part in other people's, but this year we want to do our own.
Nice.
We'll still support other people too, but this time we want a lot of details come out about that later on. That'll be after the mint. Holding our NFTs are going to be important to be able to get in without paying. There's going to be a lot of things going on. So that's honestly what I'm looking forward to the most.
Super exciting. I'm hoping to get back down to Miami. It would be my third year in a row, but I've always had an amazing time every time I get down there. And yeah, more Web3 events, and it would be cool to get to that. That sounds amazing. Brandon, how about you? What are you most excited for around the corner and, you know, into next year?
Yeah, big one, especially around the corner, the parties and events, because we like to have a good time, and we, you know, I'm in Miami. We do an Art Basel again this year. This time we're planning on having our event and, you know, collaborating with others and have our, you know, our own event, and just come and have a good time, get some drinks. I know it's crazy that we never said this, and something that Johnny and I always talk about, how good our drink tastes with vodka. You know, we have our own drink.
It's natural. It says 0 sugar, but it's definitely sweet, and it does mix with that vodka nice. You know, I think I actually tried one of those while I was down there too. You know.
Yeah, so we wanted to just, you know, had that fun, and I think like milestone like years now, and hopefully I would love when we go to Target and our drink is right there in front. It's big. You just see NFT Energy, and you seeing that promotion. You seeing the shelf boxes, and they're flying off. That's gonna really make a day. They're walking into those random stores and seeing it.
And do you think that having the QR code point directly to like the on-chain project is going to be, you know, available when it's at that mass market? Like, are you going to have that kind of technology all incorporated into the can, or would that be something that maybe a Target wouldn't want to have on their shelves or something? I'm just curious.
So I think that is there's one piece that we struggle with, which was very aggravating, but I think that when we get to it will be the point where it will be extreme excitement. So if you want to, if you're a gamer or you drink like a lot of, I think it was Monster. It might have Monster or Rockstar. I can't remember which one it was, but they had underneath their tabs, they had a code for like Halo, right? Okay. So you could go in, right? And we talked to the manufacturers of the lids, and they said that we had to be at 700,000 or 800,000 units per year to be able to have laser encoding on the bottom of it.
Wow.
So we're not there. Right?
That's wild. I feel like that assembly line background that you have, even just the ability to know who to talk to and what questions to ask, is a very specialized skill. I wouldn't even have thought of that. Like that's fascinating.
So I think that's the biggest thing is we struggle with how do you make it truly. I get my can, and I have my on-chain can proof of purchase in a way that has created an NFT, right? And have that so it's repeatable, and it's not just I go into the gas station and I scan the bottom of somebody's can, but I didn't buy anything, right? How do you make it individual, right? And so that's why we went towards the tab scratcher and creating gamification of that, and that's what's going to come out. So you can scan these scratch off cards that'll have QR codes on them, right? But ultimately, we want to make it so that when you buy the can and you pop the tab, eventually you're able to do that. And that's the only way you can get to that, right? Because you have to open it. Right. So, that is another point of how do you bring it on chain and make it individualized where it is? You create that gamification of it, right? Yeah. And that's further down the road. That's like probably, hopefully, we'll see maybe the end of next year or something, right?
Well, you got the QR codes in there. That's kind of an initial step, right? But to your point, wanting to make sure you have to buy it in order to get the thing that's the real perk, right? That's kind of a tricky solution, yeah.
Tricky, yeah. But once you get that gamification, again, like the biggest thing going back is that customer and consumer engagement. Like we love the idea of the gamify. So you pop in every tab, take a drink, and now I had the ability to be able to vote on the next can flavor. Like we're doing so much to get people like fully involved, and like you're actually a part of NFT Energy. Like being a part of Red Bull before they went IPO and went crazy. You have the same opportunity with us.
That's what's up, man. That's exciting, man. That's a true ambitious project, and honestly, the most innovative phygital concept that I've seen personally on a like just straight, like it's an actual physical item, an energy drink of all things that has all of this digital kind of implications, right, and connections, whether it's to different NFT projects, whether it's to your own NFT project, whether it's as a collectible in the future and being able to get other perks. So kudos to you, man. It's really amazing, both of you and your team. And Lawrence, it's too bad he wasn't able to make it. I do hope we're able to connect in Miami, and we'll definitely all be watching. And do you have any final words before we wrap up here, either of you?
I do. I think that what I need to do is I need to send you a package.
Oh shit.
And with some drinks,
Let's
go. And then if even if it's just a small thing before we come up to our mint, maybe you could share those and your thoughts on some art and drinking them, and because I know you already like it,
100%.
But you need to have some for yourself because it just looks good, right? I mean,
that's it.
Right, so
that's it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I'm here for the art. I'm here for the on-chain art. I want to see a future collaboration with you and some art exchange. Like I feel like that's an awesome opportunity for you, and I think it would actually work really well for the exchanges as well, because like artists want to be have an opportunity to share their art, and you can have a whole raffle, whole contest. I think it would be cool. So maybe we'll chat about that offline. But I really appreciate your time. I know you got to get to another meeting there, Brandon. NFT Energy is always on the go. Lots of events, lots of exciting things. So we'll be watching. Appreciate both of you. Until next time, everybody, we'll catch you all in the metaverse. Peace out.
Thank you.